Good morning, class 6 students. Students, today we are going to start chapter number 6, and the name of the chapter is Kingdom, Kings, and an Early Republic. Students, let's start. Students, how some men become a ruler means how some men become the leader of the country, become the king of the country, become the rajas of the country. As you know that the how we can give the vote today is the concept is we are living in a democratic world and people give vote and the person who has been elected the most given get the majority of votes runs the government. Students, so let's start. Choosing leader or ruler by voting is something that has become common during the last 50 century and so on. Students, this is a common phenomena that choosing a leader through the voting. How did men become the ruler in the past? How question is how the men used to become a ruler, becomes a leader or the king in the past. Some of the rajas we read about it in the chapter 5. We have read about the in chapter 5 and probably chosen as by the Jana, the people. Jana means Janta means Jana, Janta are same words. The people. But around 3000 years ago, we find some changes taking place in the way of which Rajas were chosen. Some men now become recognized as Rajas by performing her big sacrifices. Students, some people used to become Rajas, they were recognized how the sacrifices they have made. The Asmaveda, or horse sacrifices, was one such ritual. A horse was let loose to wander freely, and it was guarded by the Raja's men. If the horse wanders into the kingdoms of the other Rajas, and they stopped it, they had to fight. If they allow the horse to pass, it means that they accepted the rajas who wanted to perform the sacrifices and stronger than them. These rajas were then invited to the sacrifice, which was performed by specially trained priests who were rewarded with the gifts. The rajas who organized the sacrifices was recognized as being very powerful, and all those who came brought gift for him. Students, there is a different methods. 300,000 years back, the rajas they were students. The horse used to pass, and it means that they accept if the passes if they stopped it, that means they want to fight and they do not allow the horse to pass because they don't want that person to become a king or the ruler. Now if the store is being stronger, performance is accepted, that means that person is stronger than them, and these rajas were invited to sacrifices, and the rajas at that time 3000 years back they used to perform certain types of sacrifices, so which was specially done by the trained priest, and they used to get the reward. The rajas who organized these sacrifices was recognized as a powerful, very powerful man, and whoever the raja who's organizing these sacrifices were considered as a very powerful man, and those who become brought gift for him, and those who come there they used to bring gift for them. The Rajas was a central figure, means an important figure in these ritual. He often had a special seats. Students, the Rajas at that time is a central figure, means an important person of that time, and they used to be provided a special seat, a throne, or a tiger skin, they used to provide a tiger, his chariots, was his companion in the battlefield and witnesses his exploits. Students, that time the king was the Raja was a central figure because they were provided a special seats, the chariots also, and who he was champion in the battlefield. Chants the tale of his glory. Chanting means they used to describe the stories were being written for the glory glorifying study stories is how they have won the battle. These chants were made. His relatives, especially the wives and son, had to perform varieties of minor rituals. That time, the Raja's family, which consists of wife and son, especially, has to provide minor rituals also, means the practice of god or something like that. The other rajas were simply spectators who had to sit and watch the perform the sacrifices, and other rajas who come there were the spectators, means the person they used to see and watch how they are doing performing the sacrifices. Priests perform the rituals, including the sprinkling of the scared water on the king. Students, they use the different rituals they used to perform by sprinkling the scared water, means the scared water, the water which has been presented by the priest, this is the holy water. The ordinary people, the Vish or the Vyas, were also brought gifts. However, some people, such as those who were regarded as Sundaras by the priests, were excluded from many rituals. The Sundaras at that time used to be excluded, means they were not allowed to include in any of the rituals performed by the Rajas. Thank you, class.